What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. I have Matt here with me. He's back in Kraken action. Tanner is here, and Chris, the artist formerly known as Heavy C, is here also.
Yes. The overweight lover in the house.
So today, well, we were just talking before, and we had an interesting question of how does one dispose of a tattered American flag? And Chris believes
Post office. Take it to the post office.
and then we're not sure if they just throw them in the trash or the dumpster out back.
I'm pretty confident.
But no, I believe
they probably
that
ship them
I know
somewhere.
I know the American Legion will take them, so I don't know if the Legion picks them up there. But I know they will take them as well, but a post office is convenient.
So I'd never want to do something offensive with like when you put it on a shirt, you know, like where you have to have like the direction of the flag.
Yes.
Like I try to you have to Google it every single time. Because it always looks backwards to me. Like when it's on a sleeve.
It's supposed to be union forward, so like you're charging ahead, so the flag's blowing behind you.
But like that is the way it looks when I'm looking here.
Yeah.
But on a shirt, it's backward.
Right. So depending on which on your left sleeve or your right sleeve, it'll look weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it always throws me off. But I have an American flag that is just it's just been a little worn. It was outside a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something to the display of it because I think a lot of people don't know exactly how you should display. Like Matt said, it's always supposed to be the stars, the Union forward, like you're running into battle, you're not running away. And then the stars should always be in the top left, no matter if you have it hung horizontally or vertically. The stars are always in the top left corner.
Yep. And then so we have one at the store, and it kind of looks backwards. So yeah, but we always make sure we're doing it correctly.
There's also been a lot of debate. We're not going to get super far into it, but
We could. You open that.
Then we'd
can
have
of
to
worms,
shut your mic
Brett.
off.
yeah.
Keep the
Actually,
dump button.
Chris had this. If he would like to talk about it.
What?
Hey, Chris, we're on a podcast.
How about what the American flag means to you?
Yeah, and because how this came up because your brother
Yeah.
didn't like our flag in the background.
Yes, and I almost hung up on him. Obviously, it seems like the American flag, for whatever reason, has, I don't know, some people have painted it into a different light than what it is. It's not supposed to belong to one political party or anything like that. It's for the people. And that's what the American flag's for. Not for politicians or anybody it should be for everybody. That's what it's for. That's what I told him, and it was sad to me that he thinks just because you have an American flag showing that you're some form of extremist one way or the other.
Well,
I guess we won't talk about which way.
Well, it's liberals.
Yeah,
But
Tanner.
well, I mean, how far gone do you have to be like, oh, this American flag is like something bad? Like, where the fuck do you live at?
Yeah,
Are you not proud of your country? We are. Do you know why people keep coming here? It's because we're good. People want to be here. We don't have people leaving our border. We have people coming over it.
Yeah, a lot of times people may talk negatively about the country, like the grass is greener on the other side. But once you look into a lot of other places, it's not always. It might be the same, but it's probably not greener in a lot of places necessarily.
In Canada, they want you to register your podcast now.
I did see that. I saw Joe Rogan. I
What do
talked
you mean
about that.
register it?
So they want to be able to control it. In the UK, they're asking Rumble to ban Russell Brand. Like,
Yeah, the free. It's just been the flag has been so convoluted in trying to be something that it's not. You know, it just like Chris said, it's for the people. I mean, it's the 13 star.
Yeah, it doesn't stand for a political party.
Yeah, I mean the 13 stripes, the 13 original colonies. You know, the red, white, and blue, the blood, sweat, and tears of all the people who fought and died for this country over the years. Obviously, the 50 stars. Obviously, the 50 states. I mean, but it's just about being. We're all Americans. I hate like the divides of everything. Like, I don't care what color you are, what political party you are. We're all Americans, and I think everybody needs to remember that. And that's what the flag stands for, is the unity of the country. And it might seem like it's divided. It might seem like it's like weird, but overall, when it comes down to it, we're all Americans. And that's really, like, to me, that's all that really matters.
We were talking about this yesterday, and Matt said something about this. And he had a neighbor that came up to him and was like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were a Republican," because he had an American flag outside. And he goes, no, I'm just an American. You know, it doesn't matter if I'm a Republican or not. It just means I'm an American."
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I don't like how sometimes it seems like people view the flag as decoration, like they only put it outside on Memorial Day. It's not decoration. If you're only
It
going
is
to
a
put it
very
out,
like United States thing to do, though, to fly the flag consistently. Like
Yeah.
that's not.
They don't do that in other
They
places.
don't do it like no.
Yeah, that just shows
strange.
that just shows the pride I think that a lot of people have in this country.
I think people forgot we are the great American experiment. This was never done before us.
No, and we've talked about it before. You know, like when we had that, who would you have lunch with if you could? And George, I picked George Washington. I mean, like, because those guys, what they did and put together for this country is really fucking crazy if you think about how well it's worked over the years.
Like our Constitution has basically gone from felt pens and musket loaders and able to go into the internet and it works the entire time.
Did they have felt pens back then?
I have no
I
idea.
don't think it
Quill.
was felt.
They were
Quill?
quill pens.
Whatever.
dip my pen in the quill.
Well, yeah, felt was the wrong word.
Yeah.
But you
I
got
just
my
couldn't let
fucking
it slide.
point.
You were starting to sound kind of intellectual, and I was like, nope, not happening.
Nope,
Oh,
it's gone now.
And
No one would have even known.
Yeah, he really felt himself right there.
I'm gonna feel Matt's leg here in a second.
You want to touch my eye?
But yeah, I mean, I think it's everybody's just remember that's what it stands for. There's a lot of bravery that went into that flag. I mean, like look at George Washington. That guy was basically the world's biggest treasonist at that point when he decided to declare independence from Great Britain.
Yes.
Like that was a fucking ballsy move.
So ironically, there's nothing in the Constitution about whether, like, a president can be a criminal, because at that point in time when the country was developed, they were all criminals.
Oh yeah, because they were all giant treasonists.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wish people would just look at it that way. And I think that the people that talk about like all this hate and people have, I see a lot of people on a daily basis, and I don't see anybody that I see experience any kind of hate like that. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I don't think it's what people think it is. Like, I bet if you really sat back and look at like how much hate you experience on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, like I don't.
mine's pretty high.
Yeah,
Mine's pretty high.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Your job doesn't help that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I would say that because of social media and because of the way that algorithms work, I think the algorithms are so good that we are stuck so much in our vacuum that for you to be on social media, you have to be happy when looking at it, or it has to be telling you something, like has to be making you feel smart or feel right. So when you're clicking on things or watching things or following things, it basically just keeps feeding you the things you're doing. So it is dividing us, because if I'm thinking one way, I'm only getting those.
Yeah.
If you have someone else thinking another way, they're only getting those. So like on my social media, recently I started following a bunch of things that are completely opposite of my beliefs. And when I see it, I'm like, oh dear God. You know, like,
but you know, like we talked about last week when we were talking about some of the different diet fads, like in training, any of that stuff, the internet has got a plethora of things. Read some from every direction, and the common denominator is probably going to get you in the right direction, because everybody tells their own story, and it's just kind of ridiculous.
yeah.
So, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a flag and being an American. It doesn't mean you're claiming a fucking political party or an affiliation.
Means you're an American.
Just be an American. Right, Matt? You've had a lot to say, so I assume
Yep.
you're. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the people who come over here that are like first generation
Or diehard Americans.
immigrants,
Yes.
yeah, they are the most American. Like we have taken for granted what we have, and when people come over here from wherever they're from, they're like, "This is why I'm here."
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're born with it. Like
Yeah.
it's just always been something that we've had. So we don't know what it's like to be, and even like the poor.
The
and
poor here are
downtrodden
not
here
are not
nothing
poor if you go to Guatemala.
compared to like international poverty.
Yes.
is totally different.
I was in Guatemala building houses, and these people had 8 to 10 people living in a house that they were happy because we made it out of cinder block and we put a cement floor down. They were no longer on dirt. It was still one room.
Yeah.
It was still smaller than this room, and it was their house. Like there's a different kind of poor out there. There's a whole different world out there that we are completely isolated from and insulated from, that we just and we take what we have for granted.
Yeah, appreciate what you have, and that's with everything in life. Like we tell you know, life doesn't have to be super hard. Have fun with life and enjoy life, because there's a lot of other shitty places you could be out there, and
you're
here
here for a blink. It's a blink of an eye.
Yeah,
Like
So-
when John was here, he was talking about when he was over in, was it when he was in Russia? And the guy was like, "Oh man," and he goes, "That's really nice that they give you a lot of money to train." He goes, "Oh, you know what'd be really nice to do? Whatever you want."
yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big perspective right there. Like, no, you're born. The government tells you, like, "Oh, hey, here's your job. These are the options you have, or whatever options you don't have." You know.
Yeah, it could drastically go
Yeah.
different directions.
Well, yeah, in a lot of different countries, you don't get a choice whether you get an education. At 12, you're not the sharpest knife in the box there. You're doing something else.
Well, and on the base of it, like a lot of other countries, if you would question a political party that's in power, not cool. In a lot of other countries where
yeah, you get
this
indicted
flag-
like 4 times.
this flag that represents all the great people that fought and died for this country gave us all that right to be able to freely question things.
Well, that's another thing. My grandfather was a veteran, and he was like from the Korean War, and he used to tell me stories, and I would hear him have nightmares, and it saddens me that people think that the flag stands for something other than what they fought for, and what all those guys fought for and died for. And it does sadden me that people think that it belongs to a certain political party or a certain type of person, and it doesn't.
Well, all those
Or you
people.
look negatively on it because you think it belongs to a party that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, understand you get to talk, you get to say whatever you want, and you get to talk shit about whatever you want because of the people who died for that flag.
yeah. Yeah. So everyone remember that when you think about the flag. It's not about whether someone's good or bad or better than someone or a piece of shit or whatever. It's everybody. That's what it's all about.
America.
And that's what these people who are coming here are looking for, is that flag.
Yeah.
That's been the symbol of freedom, you know, since the revolution. So
It's all
But-
about freedom.
It is.
before we move on to the next part, we got our show partners. So we got obviously EliteNutritionOmaha.com, discount code B3, free shipping.
Or come out to the store and just yell B3.
Yeah, and I'll give you a 10% discount, free shipping worldwide, $50, right?
Yep. And if you yell B3 in the store, I'll give you a free shaker.
Yes.
Fucking, I'm in.
Yes. Also, Rosewood Block Company. They make the best cutting boards in the barbecue world and
Yep.
just any world, really. Check them out. They're, I know they're ramping up production, but they also, during Christmas time, they get bogged down. So if you want something in, I think they have a deadline for Christmas orders. I got our order in for our board. It's going to be fucking sweet.
I'm pulling the trigger on it too, so
You should.
Nice.
I'm done being cheap.
Yes. But
It's worth it. I got a set for a buddy who's getting married today, and they showed up, and they're fucking nice. Now we went with the prep boards for him.
and the prep boards are just there's like a little topper board to go on top
Yeah.
of your main board, so your raw meats and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can do all your cutting and stuff on there.
Still wood.
Yeah, it's still wood, still same high quality. Like you can get in the set that I got for him, it's 3 different sizes. You can do black walnut, maple, or cherry. I think I went with the maple, not end grain. But the good thing, the benefit about having a prep board is, like Brett said, like you keep your raw meat kind of separate from your actual like big butcher block. Now, when I'm cutting like a giant brisket, like use the brisketeer board because it's huge. They still get a little gooey, so like the brisketeers and some of the others have like a juice catch around the edge. These don't. They're
The juice groove.
a juice groove. There we go. These don't. They're just a flat board. But it is nice to have that so you can prep different stuff.
So you're kind of a nerd about this stuff. What's the difference in the woods? Is it just look, or is
it's
there
really
a,
just look.
They have that purple heartwood. Is that what it's called? Purple? Is that purple?
I haven't
heartwood?
seen. There is purple heart.
But they'll have like a strip of like purple wood through it. It's
Yeah,
really
like you can do
fucking
that in
cool.
canary wood, and like it really. There's some woods that you don't want to use because they're super porous. So like a pine,
like nothing soft?
like generally like softwoods and stuff like that.
So
you don't
anything
want
super hard like a
because-
walnut or
yeah.
oak,
walnut, oak,
maple.
Yeah, I think maple and walnut are probably the most common because they have a really good opposing color scheme, like really, really light and then a really dark. But they'll use like Purple Heart, Canary is like that yellowish strip that you can get in there, and use different things. But the big difference is not so much the wood type as much as whether or not you're edge grain or end grain, which I think we hit on a couple of weeks ago or one of them. So the end grain, it's you think about gluing all your boards together and then you have them vertical so that the fibers are running kind of up and down.
Okay.
So when you cut down, your knife goes in between the fibers. So just think of like a bunch of different hairs sticking up. Your knife can slide down in there. And so it's if you did a shitload of cutting, it's easier on your knife blades. But it does take more care, like more maintenance, because as you're cutting down, like you're opening grooves, and they'll close back up a little bit, but it's easier to soak stuff in. And it takes a lot more wood and a lot more time, so they generally are a little more expensive if you go end grain. But again, edge grain is just fine. And
I should hire you as a salesperson.
Fuck yeah, man.
And we're basically doing it right now.
Yeah,
You like 'em.
it's pretty good.
Like I have, I think Catskill is the first like real cutting board I got, like big heavy duty one. That one's really nice, and I probably had that for 10, 12 years. And that was the one that really taught me like board maintenance of like oiling them down and not like scrubbing the shit out of them with.
So that's like walrus oil. Is that what you guys are saying?
Yeah.
Walrus oil.
Do you get
I
that
use the
from
walrus.
Rosewood too?
Rosewood
think
does sell the walrus oil. They
I
sell.
don't think they sell the walrus anymore. I think they have like their own.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
do they?
Yeah, I think they changed to call it that kind of their own blend. But there's like, and so if you can super nerd out on that. Like I think it's like linseed oil and some other different oils that you can put on there. But generally you don't want to use an organic like food, like vegetable oil or something like that, because that will get moldy like in the wood. But you want to seal it up so like your meat juices and shit don't get down in there and get kind of rotten, but you do have to take care of it. So I think like the big block I have sits on my counter and gets used pretty much every day. And I would say unless I do a bunch of raw meat on it, every 3 or 4 days I take it over to the sink, like kind of warm water, and scrape all the chunks off and maybe scrub some spots that look dirty, take it out, and then, I don't know, whenever the middle starts to look kind of dry, lathered up in the walrus oil or something else, let it sit for 12 to 24 hours, wipe it down, and you're good to go.
So you can't cook for a day?
I just get a different one out. I still keep the old Catskill on back so it just sits out in the sunroom on its edge. But I have like,
Or you just buy 2 rosewood boards.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably get a set of those prep blocks because I have some others. Like I have like a soft pine one that someone got for me because it had like I think we got it for our wedding, and so it has like our initials on it. But that one, it takes a shitload of oil to keep it lubed up, so like shit doesn't
'Cause
get
it's
stuck in there.
soft,
Yeah. And then if you use like a serrated edge on it, like it's like running a chainsaw through it, and so it just gets a big gouge cut. But having those are nice. Like you can use plastic cutting boards and stuff, and some of that stuff's fine. But I think these look cooler. And like I think I mentioned using my cast iron, like I feel like more of a man when I use like a giant chunk of wood to cut meat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all fully like customizable. They'll
Yeah.
do laser, they'll do CNC engraving, they'll do epoxy fills on them, whatever
Yeah.
colors you want. I mean, they do like literally like
Yep.
the possibilities are endless with them.
Yeah.
And they also do a discount code for us of B3,
Yep.
the letter B, the number 3, and they'll give you 10% off at checkout.
Yeah, customer service is awesome. Like I had a little hiccup when I ordered this one. Emailed them probably 3 or 4 hours after I made the initial order. They got back to me the next day, got it fixed, shipped out the door. No problem.
And dude, there's still like a small like mom and pop. Like
yeah,
I literally, when I still talk to Kayla, who is the wife of the guy who, I mean, like the family runs it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's who I talk to. I just text her, and like when I order my stuff, and like when I was getting all the setups, she's still who I talk to. She always responds. Like,
right. And they look. I think at least the one that I had, like it looks nice enough. You can just leave it out. It's not like some of the others that just look all chopped to shit, and like you got them at some like the Goodwill or something.
yeah, they're
You
made
gotta
for like
keep them
use
tucked
and
away. Like it just sits out and it looks
use
really
and
nice.
decoration.
Yeah.
Mine's so nice, I don't even want to use it. I do use it, but it's so nice.
Yeah.
Every day.
Well, the real test will be if my wife lets it stay out, because she's pretty much like counter space is a premium in the
Yeah.
house. Yeah, if she lets it stay out, then you know it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
But yeah, so check those guys out. Rosewood Block, B3 for them and for Elite Nutrition Omaha. And then you don't have to be in Omaha. You can order from Tanner anywhere. So check those guys out. And then next we've talked about Ozempic in the past, and I feel it's making a comeback. Went away, but it's back in the news again. I know the Osborns have a podcast now, and I think Sharon's been talking about it a little bit on there. I know Tanner was just talking about the business of it. So what do you got on that, Tanner?
So I was listening to a podcast this morning, Russell Brand, and he was talking about that I think it's a GOP2 or something, this brand or this type of drug that it's a $70 to $80 billion market. That it is huge. And the problem is right now they're going through and they're talking with, they have all these doctors that are in articles. So the whole pharmaceutical industry that's pushing this, I can't remember the name of the company. I can't remember which pharmaceutical company pushed it first, but they're all pushing it. So they have all these articles out now. So it's like articles in the Washington Post and the New York Times, and they're at NBC and CBS News are running things on it. And they have it's like full bore. This is going to be the biggest thing coming in the next few years as far as weight loss goes. And they're trying to say it's for, overall health because America's fat and we have like over 100 million people obese, 100 million adults. But they're rushing this with money. I mean, it's too much money to leave on the table, and they do not care what the repercussions are.
Now, haven't they talked about like more side effects lately of it though too? Like people having like stomach problems, like your stomach almost become like allergic to certain foods, or you can't eat certain foods after you've done Ozempic.
I haven't heard that, but so our stomach biome is very, very, very it's very complex. We have a ton of bacteria, and they're good and bad, right? Different foods and different things we eat are feeding good bacteria, they're feeding bad bacteria. I would guess that if you're under eating severely, which is what this does, it just makes you not, it's mimicking leptin, it's mimicking the hormone that tells you you're satisfied, and you're just not going to eat. So a lot of, I think it could be a tool if used properly, but no one prescribes it properly. They're like, this is a magic fucking pill. Like if you were to take this and then eat on a schedule, like have macros and follow that, and this was kept you from eating all the bullshit that you were eating, maybe it could work. But that's not what's happening. People are starving. They're basically going all day and eating dinner. That's what they're doing because they're not hungry.
This sounds like every weight loss pill that's ever came out. Like, what was it in the beginning? Was it Fen-Phen? Everyone's like on that, like
Dude, Ephedra was great though.
A long time ago. Yeah, but a long time ago, everyone was taking that.
Like,
everyone,
I'm not against that.
Everyone lost a ton of weight, and then everyone was having cardiac arrest, and then they were like, "Oh, hey, maybe you should."
Yeah, that's because
everyone's going to abuse it.
Yes,
that's exactly what happened.
And Ephedra made you feel good, right? Like gave you the go. It was some go juice.
I'm sure people are going to abuse this too.
Yeah, I just think taking it's an abuse.
Yeah, well.
But I feel like Ephedra just was more, at least had, I feel like the negative side effects of Ephedra were not near the same. It was just like, you got super, now
because
you might stroke out.
Like a huge stimulant.
Well, because
it was just more of a stimulant than anything.
It was that NASCAR crew. I think that was like the tipping point is like these NASCAR crew members were taking it to like go, and then like someone died.
Yeah, everything good somebody ruins.
Yeah. Well,
like the one chip challenge. That fucking kid.
Fucking kid died. Now we can't do it.
Darn it. It really makes me sad.
That was a pussy anyways. He wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
He's
I said once my ribs were healed and I didn't die.
Yeah. Well, we did decide that if we did the one chip challenge, that Brett and I would have to go first because if we go down, you guys can save us.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you two go down, we're probably just not going to be helpful.
I'll still just call
sounds like we're down two hosts.
Yeah, I think the Ozempic to me is like a lot of the other diets out there, like Weight Watchers, Zone, some of these others, where it's still not addressing the root cause, which is like you don't know how to eat appropriately. Like you don't know portion control, you don't know balance.
Yeah, it's not teaching you anything.
It doesn't teach you anything. So like Weight Watchers, you don't have to know what's in your food. You just look it up and you get a number and you say, oh, I can have 5 points today.
I think I'm not a defender of Weight Watchers. But I think at least Weight Watchers when they went to that, because I think it used to be like fucking Weight Watcher shakes.
That was Slim Fast, wasn't it?
Was it Slim Fast?
I think
Slim Fast is
Slim
like
Fast was
Weight Watchers always did the points.
Weight
Okay.
Watchers goes everything off points. So like on the Weight Watchers side, like they're doing the macro balancing for
Yes.
you, and they give that to you. So
Kind
like,
of.
yeah. So right, it's still shit. Because they're like, oh, here's a good bar. Like, if you look at, you guys got to watch. I've been watching a shit ton of Mike Israetel over the last like year or so.
Oh,
he
he's
does like
fun.
a
He's
video
fun to
every
watch.
week on shit, and so he'll do like he just did a greatest protein bars based on like Cosmo or something, rated some stuff, and he pulled up one that was their number one bar, and it was 3 grams of carbs, 21 grams of fat, and 14 grams of protein. And he's like, well, yeah, no shit, this is good. It's all fake sugar and fat.
Yeah,
like, fucking great.
On a side note, we had a company, I don't remember the company's name, send me their protein cookies. You know, like, yeah, we'll try them out. Took a bite of it, it's like fucking sawdust, and there's 18 grams of fat in there. I'm like, how the hell?
How is it so shitty?
Yeah, I was like, how? Like, if there's 18 grams of fat in a cookie, like, just use real
I'll just
butter.
eat bacon.
Yeah, or I'll just eat a real cookie and drink a protein shake.
Yeah.
Right? How are you going to put 18 grams of fat in a cookie and make it taste bad? Like, that takes a talent.
Yeah.
It takes a talent that I don't have.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Ozempic, I think, is like that. It doesn't address the root cause. Like, you have bad eating habits, right? Like, you don't understand how to eat. And not that you have to, like, get super dialed in, use MyFitnessPal for everything, but like, you don't have a well balanced diet. You don't have portion control, which is probably the biggest issue. So we're just going to give you this that eliminates your hunger. So you're just not hungry. So you're still probably going to eat the same shitty food, but you're going to eat less of it. So your body weight will go down. But if you're still eating, if the macros you're bringing in are still a shit balance, if you're eating less of them, overall you'll be in a calorie deficit. Cool. But I think to the point you brought up the first time we talked about, you're going to drop muscle mass, right? You're going to lose the good stuff because your macro balance is still shit.
Well, when these people are starving themselves into weight loss, one of the studies that I saw was like up to 1/3 of the weight that you lost was muscle, bone, and connective tissue. Like, that's not a good trade-off.
No, not for just an overall. Not if weight is your.
That's not a good trade-off for anybody. I don't think it's a good idea to lose bone or connective tissue.
No.
You can't lose any more connective tissue.
I don't have much left. Well, actually, you know what? It's not doing much anyway. I can get rid
I mean, I
of
feel
it.
like anybody that's you see these people now because it's been around long enough, you know, with Ozempic, they all just look super sunk in, like their faces all sunk in. They don't look like healthy weight loss.
Well, that's like the people that did like the Atkins, which wasn't keto. It was just low carb. So like your carbs are low enough that your body's still trying to run off carbs, but you don't have enough to function as a human being. So you look quasi-Skeletor-ish, where you'd be better off just going full-blown keto and go full-blown keto, right? Where at least then you can start to use fat as fuel and you're not trying to burn off the carbs.
I don't think people understand. I don't think people understand keto and the
No.
process of it. So basically, we run on carbs. Our glycogen is our main energy source, refilled by carbs. Okay, like keto is a backup. So if I could only run on carbs and I didn't eat carbs for 2 days, I would die. Okay, if I could only run on carbs, like my glycogen's going to be depleted, I'm going to be completely drained. So that's why, like, we are a perfectly designed machine. Humans
Right.
are. Like, we're perfectly
That's
designed.
why you store body fat.
Right. That's why you store body fat. So if I go, like, understand that up until like the last 100 years, we haven't had food. We haven't had excess food. Food has always had scarcity issues. This is the only time in human history that we have just had, that we know of, that we have just had abundance of food.
At least in the United States.
Yes.
What's going on out there?
I have no idea.
Somebody's getting after it.
yeah,
I'm going to go out there and kick someone right in the dick.
yeah, no kidding. Anyway,
So keto is a backup generator, just much like your house. Like if you live out in the country, you have a generator, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if storm comes through and power goes out, you kick your generator on. Does your house run as efficiently as it did on public power? No. You're gonna have to back some things off,
Well, I mean,
or it doesn't run forever.
I could. So we just have a small. I mean, so you could have like a whole home generator, right?
Yeah.
So it burns on different fuel, And so you could run everything in the house.
You're,
Like, I see where
you're
going,
ruining
but-
Tanner's.
I know.
Well, like typically, like most
But what do you have, Matt?
most generators.
So if you got a
are
shitty,
gas
what I'm saying is you got a shitty generator to run your house.
it's
So
a
it's like
fucking
basically
Honda 2000.
That's running on
man.
diesel in your living room.
like if you're running a generator, like you're gonna have to refill that thing with fuel. Like it is not the ideal way to run power. You're you're not choosing to run your house on a generator.
Yeah.
Right. It's if you need a generator, you
Correct.
put it on. As soon as your power switch, you kick it off. You're not going to just say, "Hey, I'm going to run my house on a generator for the week." It's a pain in the ass.
Yes.
It doesn't work as well,
Yes.
and you have to keep refilling it.
Yes.
So that's where keto is. Keto is your body's backup generator.
Yes.
So, like your point to the Atkins diet was that basically they were low carb, high protein, and then like not enough fat to be on keto. So basically, you were running on nothing.
Right.
And that's my problem with a lot of like high protein. Like when people are like, I'm on a high protein diet. Well, you don't have enough carbs to give you your energy. You don't have enough carbs to run your body, and you're not eating enough fat to put you in ketosis. So you're like in no man's land.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people, like a lot of CrossFitters, when they do what the hell's that diet they do?
Well,
Paleo.
Yeah, paleo. It's like
Paleo.
it's like carnivore kind of.
Well, it's like paleo, and like the only carb cavemen ate were sweet potatoes. I don't know if you knew that, but it's the only carb they ate.
That's a lie. If I was a caveman, I found a fucking Snickers, I'm gonna crush that thing.
Exactly.
Lack of availability. Let's fucking keep it real.
So, but a lot of times they kind of get in this plateauy area because they don't have enough
underfueled.
carbs. Yeah, they just don't have enough. Like they lose weight and they all have this like look, and it's something that they look good, but like if I added 300 grams of carbs to their day, they would be freaking ripped.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with keto is that most people don't even understand it.
But we're talking about Ozempic.
Yes.
But we have problems with a lot of stuff.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
but I think the Ozempic kind of circles back to all that stuff, right? You
have
don't
to learn how to
understand.
eat.
Yeah, you have to know how to eat, right? And like a lot of these things have a time and a place. Like keto, sure, it has a place. Like I've done.
All these things are
Keto.
short term.
They're not lifestyles. And like what you said last week, it needs to be a lifestyle.
Right.
If you can't maintain it, if it's not something you can maintain, then it's not
Right,
worth
you
it.
have to have a balanced lifestyle before you start dabbling in some of these other things. Like you need to know how to eat appropriately, like all things, fats, carbs, proteins, and all that. And then if you're going around with that and you're like, I want to dabble in this keto, see how it goes. Cool, because you can run that for a little while, but then you go back and like you know how to eat when you come back to it. But if you don't know how to eat and you hop on Ozempic, you're just going to be tanked because now you're still eating garbage, but you're eating less garbage, which is good for a minute until you start losing bone and connective tissue and muscle. And as I think we talked about before, like you can be fat with a shitload of muscle and you're way better off than being super lean with no muscle.
Yeah, like skinny fat.
That's
Yeah,
like
like
being
the-
fat and not strong.
Right. Like you can be fat and strong. That's cool. You can't be fat and weak.
I think the big problem with changing your diet and all that stuff is Americans have no patience anymore. Everyone wants everything right now. You order something on Amazon and you're like, oh, I got to wait 3 days. This is bullshit.
It's 2-day prime.
This is bullshit. Why am I waiting 3 days? Same kind of thing when you're like, oh, change your diet. It's going to take time. I had to mess with my diet for a long time before I got it dialed into where I could lose a lot of weight. And no one wants to wait. That's why everyone's like, oh, I'll just take some Ozempic. And, you didn't get fat overnight. You're not going to get lean overnight either. That's how it works.
With the fasting craze, like, is there a benefit to like the fasting stuff? Like, I'm sure there's some decent studies out there that show about it gives you like your guts a little bit of rest and stuff. And you do intermittent fasting, sure. But more than anything, it's just calorie restriction.
In my opinion, there is basically no benefit to intermittent fasting besides calorie restriction.
Calorie restriction.
If you're only going to eat for 6 hours a day, you can only eat so fucking much. Okay,
100%.
So yes, now there are benefits to fasting, like 24. Like when you get to the 24-hour mark, there are health benefits to where your body basically turns like your cells start eating the bad cells and start getting rid of the bad cells. So 24 to 48 hour fasts are fine. But like what you were saying before, like no one wants to take the time. Chris, your point, it wants to be fast. Matt, people don't want to learn. Like no one wants to take the time to learn how to eat, to learn what it is. They want to take a pill like Ozempic, or they want to take something, or they want someone else to tell them what to do. And all these things, they all lead to the same thing. You have success, however you determine that. I lost 40 pounds. It was successful. I quit taking Ozempic. I put on 50. And now I have less muscle than I had before because I lost it because I was starving myself. Now I'm in a worse spot. So when people yo-yo diet, every single time you single time you yo-yo, it makes it harder to lose weight again because you're taking your muscle away, which is what drives your calorie burn with your basal metabolic rate. So yeah, people just need to learn and not be freaking everything needs to be a microwave.
Yeah, I mean it's
Stuff
way more
takes time.
Yeah, and it's way more fun to get fat than it is small.
Yeah, speaking of that, I cooked up a bunch of brats on my cast iron after I did like a pound of bacon. Dude, like pretty much deep fried these brats in bacon fat.
You got to keep that fat. That's that fat level up right there.
You got to eat the
Keto.
fat from the bacon because
Yeah.
when you track it in MyFitnessPal, you've accounted for that fat. You're not taking off the fat that the cast iron took away from you.
Yeah.
That's,
So you eat it with a spoon.
I need this.
I guess I never looked at that. You know, I guess I don't want to fucking cut the cows out.
Right, I've already programmed for like one
Yeah,
thick
I don't want to
strip
be
of
in a
bacon.
fucking deficit by
Man,
skipping
I know.
the bacon fat.
I'm feeling lightheaded. What is? Oh, I didn't eat that bacon fat that was left over. I already put that in my book and
Yeah.
everything. I'm ready to go.
My aunt used to
Yeah.
keep her bacon fat like it just in a jar.
Yeah.
So she could reuse it later on.
I was just about ready to ask Matt, do you do that? Do you keep all your lard and like cook with it?
We
Or
asked,
do you
Matt,
just, like,
we asked Matt these questions because he lives on like an acreage. Like he's out in the middle of the fucking mountains and he's got to like just ration
I got
everything.
nothing.
yeah.
I
do you have running water?
I used to, no.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I have a well, and I do have no. So we have a well. The wellhead outside by these like stairs used to be a manual pump well. So like you just fucking hand pump that shit.
Yeah,
and
pumps in a
then when
pump.
they upgraded the pump, I don't know, back in like the 80s, they hooked it up to the hard line. So now you just open it and water flows out. It's not quite as nifty,
Damn.
but it's a little more convenient.
Figured you had an outhouse.
We do have an outhouse.
My parents had one for years.
My nephew, but it's only a number one outhouse right now. So my
How is that only a number one?
That's just called outdoors.
so Aaron's nephew, who technically is my nephew, but I don't claim him, so I always say Aaron's nephew. Aaron's nephew was here, and he like his dad. I don't know, is not like what I would consider like a masculine man. He has a hammer and like 2 screwdrivers.
Is it pink?
Probably one of those.
That's
purple ones
fine. You
came
can
in
have
the
whatever
kit.
color you want.
Yeah. But anyway,
That's
so like,
okay.
It does determine your manliness.
So he came. The nephew came up and he was hanging out in Omaha for a week and came out to that place and he was like, "I want to build something." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Like I love to build shit. What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I want to build like a little cabin." And I was like, "Cool. Well, I've got all this scrap lumber and we can just like put something together." So like we took this pallet and we built some walls and has a little roof and stuff on it. And then he left, and I've just got this fucking little, what looks like an outhouse. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? So I took it down by our bonfire pit. I have it down around behind the trees. And I've got a bucket and some plumbing stuff down there. So I'm just going to drill a hole in it so you can stand in there and pee into this bucket. And it's going to go into a hole that we drill in the ground filled with rocks. So it'll be a number 1 outhouse. You could number 2 in it, but it'll just sit in the bucket and stink.
Is that
So is that different than peeing on the tree?
No, it just makes you feel kind of special.
Okay.
You went to a designated place for going pee.
in said scrap lumber? Is that 3/4 inch piece of plywood I gave you last year
Nope.
still in there? Okay, good. I'm gonna need that back at some point.
Yeah, as soon as we're ready to go, like it's there. I looked at it. We were doing some work on the chicken coop, and I was like, God, I need a piece of plywood. And I was like, nope, not mine.
Yeah, we're gonna make a floor press bench pad out of that, so you can lay it across for dumbbells.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's still there, but no, I have not repurposed that for anything else.
I
like-
appreciate that.
That hey, that 1-3, plywood's expensive these days.
But-
And it's like the finished plywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that OSB shit. Let's
It's like
fucking
birch here.
keep it real
I used to
here.
keep- back to the original. I used to keep like a lot of the bacon fat and like rendered fat from cooking, and then like repurpose it. I don't since I found beef tallow from brisket.
So-
I don't keep that other stuff.
My wife had me building a bunch of planter boxes, and I felt like a man because I was like, oh, I need wood. And
She
it's
let you
up
drive the
there.
truck to go
Yeah,
get
she
the
let me
wood?
drive the
Yeah.
truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get to move the front seats?
God damn it, he doesn't say anything all fucking podcast, and the one time he talks is hilarious, and it's against me. All right,
Did she let you move the front seat too?
I have.
He probably had to move it up.
But I use scrap wood. Like I had used wood that I had already like scrapped, and I was like, oh, like that's like I feel like my dad right now.
Yeah.
Like I have all this wood.
Hold on, let me check the shelf.
I have something. Yeah.
That board you've been saving for 10 years. You're like, I'm going to need this at some point.
Yeah, but I used it. And I was like, fuck yeah, I used that scrap wood.
Right?
This is why I have a pile of it, because I might use it.
Was this the same project where you could have parked the truck closer to everything, but you just decided to wheelbarrow everything across your whole entire yard?
I could not park it closer, and I just had to wheelbarrow like 10 or 12,000 pounds of dirt. Nothing.
Why couldn't you park it
That's like
closer?
2
Because I have
wheelbarrows.
It was 2 wheelbarrows.
That's what I thought.
Because I have a fucking fence, Brett.
Yeah, and you can take the fence out.
No.
That would have been more manly.
He has some skill, but
I'm not gonna no. The fence just got put up this year, and I'm not fucking with it.
Yeah. Well, never mind. You might as well not even have drove the truck at this point.
I did have to drive.
If you ever do have to take your fence down, if you just take like a dead blow hammer, they're just built in sections. You can knock a section off to get in.
I would use a chainsaw.
They weren't built in Well,
Yes, it is.
You see, you got rails.
You're going to run your horizontals and then your pickets.
yeah,
So you just hammer the horizontals right next to the main post. It'll come out.
perfect.
I had to do it to get a hot tub in my yard one time.
So
But
you've taken down a fence?
Yeah,
You're
like
a
a
man.
man at like fucking 8 o'clock in the morning because I didn't give a fuck what the neighbors thought because they were bringing my hot tub.
But last night, I was like being old. I was like, oh, I got to get home and I gotta tarp my garden because we have a frost warning.
Yeah.
And I'm out there. It's Friday night and I'm tarping the garden. I'm like, God, my 20-year-old self would kick my ass
That would
right
be
now.
so pissed.
Were the other older gardening ladies out doing it too? I assume your wife was inside like washing up after a hard day's work.
Right? Scraping her calluses off so you stop complaining.
Like your hands are very smooth right now. Get a little chafy down there.
Your hands are so rough from your hard work. I just don't like the way you touch my arm.
No, we had to pull peppers and tomatoes, anything that was close to being done. Oh, do you guys want any poblanos? I have a metric shit ton of them.
I don't know what a metric shit is, but are they overly hot?
No.
My client brought me some banana peppers last year, and I don't know what
Those are
happened, but those
sneaky.
are so fucking hot you couldn't even
So,
eat them.
like,
Banana pepper?
Yeah, they
peppers.
crossbred with something or what? I don't
Peppers
know.
in particular, over the last like 3 to 4 years, like I don't know if people just fuck with the bag, like the little packets and stuff, but like everyone that's gotten peppers, unless you go through one of like the higher end seed companies, like specifically with peppers, like it's just a fucking shit show mixed
Like
bag.
they've all just like crossbred,
It's
so
like
there's all
people
hot.
are just sitting around drinking, throwing pepper seeds in a bag, and they're like, "Fuck it," boop, and they send it out the door.
Did we finish the Ozempic thing? I don't know that really closed out.
I don't think you did.
I don't know.
It's
I guess
not a solution. Like it has a purpose.
If you just started listening, we're all over the place all the time, but we get a lot of information out there.
yeah.
So the end of it is don't take Ozempic.
Learn how to eat. It's everything is energy management. You're burning X amount of calories per day. You're eating. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat less than that. If you want to gain weight, you have to eat more than that. If you want to maintain weight, eat the same. But learn what the hell you're doing.
I think it's going to overall in the long run. Yeah, you'll lose weight, but you're going to be less healthy afterwards.
Especially if you don't learn how to maintain it.
Yes, then you're just going to get fat again.
So
Yeah.
when I work with people on like losing weight, like I'm usually, depending on their size, it's like a pound to 2 pounds a week. That's your loss. Which
And I think the leaner you are, in my opinion, a half pound to a quarter pound a week
exactly.
is pretty normal.
But it's all relative. Like if you go a month and you lose 4 pounds, like, oh, I only lost 4 pounds. Well, if you do that for a year, you lost 48. You know what I mean? Like it just takes time.
Right.
Like you can only undereat so many calories a day. If you're burning, let's just easy math, 2,000 calories a day, you can only burn 2,000 calories a day. That's max, right? However, we can all go out for the day and just say we're going to eat whatever the fuck we want, and we can eat 12,000 calories today without trying all that hard. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I hit a pizza, a runza, and freaking like something like Cane's, and I'll be at 12. Like you can get to 12,000 calories.
But if you just do that one time,
12,000 is
Yeah.
hard though.
that's the
Go eat a pizza. You've sat down and ate a pizza.
I have. Well, I did. There was that one of those shows that used to be on A&E, like My Fat Fucking Sadness or whatever that those shows were.
I don't think the fucking part was in there.
No,
but
yeah. But there was a gal who
My
was on
500
there
pound life or
who
something
ate
like that.
this is when Erin was in PA school, so she left me all by myself in our apartment, and she was the show, this gal ate like 13,000 calories.
You went to
a
the
day.
store and tried to do it, didn't you?
So I went and I got like enough food to do all that stuff, and I only made it to like 8. No,
Yeah.
largely because I'm gonna say that she also drank like 4 to 6 2-liter bottles of like Coke. Which
Damn,
just takes
that's
up a
Sodies?
shitload
That's
of
what the fat
Impressive.
sisters call them, sodies.
Yeah. So she would do that and eat pizza and do all this other stuff. And so I tried to like follow what she did for the day, and it was really fucking hard. I only got like 8,000, 9,000.
Yeah, I think there's some conditioning to eating that kind of food. Otherwise, you
I
just
love
feel
pizza.
disgusting.
Okay,
Man.
then let's just say it's 7,000.
Yeah, be
it's
realistic, Tanner. What the fuck?
Well, you could
I
go
could
5,000.
eat 10,000 calories.
Right,
That
let's
drives
just
up-
go 5,000. Like 5,000's super fucking easy to do, and that's more than two times
Yes.
what you can. Burn
So
that
like
day.
if you were going to lose a pound a week, you're at a 3,500 calorie deficit for the week. If I go eat and I'm burning 2,000 calories, right? If I eat 5,500 calories, I just got rid of my whole deficit.
Yep, that one day just took everything
Right.
away.
So it's a matter of like don't go crazy, keep things in check, but understand it just takes time, and you just got to be patient and like stay at it.
Yeah, and if you want more, listen to last week's episode because we talked about all these exact same things,
A little bit different.
minus the Ozempic.
yeah, but I wasn't here, so
I wasn't here either, so
Yeah, it's-
not nearly as cool.
The
yeah, we're
weight loss thing
all
is-
back together.
Yeah, the band's back together. Yeah, the quick result thing is not going to be a long term thing. I've even seen people like, "Oh, I'm going on a trip, so I'm going to fucking, hit the Atkins diet." Or back in the day, T Nation used to do the Velocity diet, which was all fucking like liquid, basically. And that's all
terrible.
cool. But just remember, you're going to look good for about the first 10 minutes you're on vacation, because as soon as you fucking eat anything,
You're gonna blow.
boom, fucking gone.
You're gonna bloat like a fucking tick. Like
Yeah.
I've warned people, like, don't cut for all inclusive resort. You're better off just doing your same shit. Like you can't crash this in 2 weeks.
The rate at which things come back.
Way faster.
Prime example. Yesterday we were talking, and because Drew's fighting tonight, he weighed in 155 and a half. He is probably already 175 again
Yeah.
after he weighed in.
They have a rule in California because of Drew.
Yes, Drew has made the rules. But yeah, but that's just a quick example of like if it comes on quick or comes off quick, it's going to come back quick.
I think once you hit the weight that you want to be at, you need to stay there for a year, so then your body
Get your set
likes
point.
being
We've talked
there.
about some set
yeah,
points.
likes being
Yeah.
at that. Like if you want to weigh 190 and I got down to 190, I won. No, that's not it. You need to stay there for.
Yeah, you won the battle. The war
I-
is far
yeah.
from over.
As you're going down, I think long term you need to be there for a while. But like
Yes.
as you're going down, you have different set points the whole way. If you start at 200, when you get to 195, you need to settle there for a couple weeks, right? And just keep going. So it just kind of steps down.
Yeah.
It's the same way when I was trying to put on weight. I would always get to 225 and fall back to 215, 210 because I would just that's where I was set at. And if I didn't just maintain the amount of food I was eating, it just fell off.
But you're probably burned out. Like you're just eating.
Yeah.
What you feel like is so much fucking food that you're like, God, this is miserable. I'm tired of being full.
Well,
Are you
and-
eating clean or are you eating shitty?
I've done it both ways. Usually when I'm trying to put on weight, I eat clean and then I eat like a shitty meal a day. So like I'll eat clean and then I'll eat like 2 like cheesesteaks from Pepper Jack's.
And I think some of the things that people don't think about, because it's just like, oh, it's diet stuff, whatever. You can fuck your body up, like permanently fuck your body up, your hormone. Well, I shouldn't say permanently, but long term. A lot of it can be fixed. But I mean, you can fuck up your hormones. You can fuck up your thyroid. You can fuck up your metabolism. Like
used to.
it's not like, well, I'm not like smoking cigarettes. It's still, you can still fuck yourself up by doing crazy diets.
Well, and like I just keep coming back to Chris's point. So I had a guy who put on 20 pounds over 8 months. Okay. Came out that he roughly overate 70,000 calories in that 8 months. Sounds like a shit ton, right? I just did the math, divided that by 8 months, divided that by 4 weeks, divided that by 7 days. By 7 days, do you know what it was? It was 300 calories a day. It's a 20 ounce goddamn soda. It's a 20 ounce soda a day is basically
What kind
what
of
he did.
soda? I like soda.
20 ounce sugar soda is
I'm a
about
I'm a Diet
300
Coke guy.
calories.
Yeah.
Diet Coke guy for the calories.
I can do like the OG Sunkiss though. Like even though it's super sugary. fucking
Regular
best.
Mountain Dew too.
Nah.
I haven't had a Mountain Dew since I was like
I haven't had a fucking Mountain Dew.
I was like 20.
yeah, a long time.
I had one of those like new flavors and like just the regular full sugar, and I was like, man.
Nah.
But it doesn't take that much. In the same vein, if you were just 300 calories short per day over the course of 8 months, you would have lost 20 pounds.
Well, it's like the people are like, oh, I know I lost like 30 pounds. I stopped drinking beer. And I'm like, how many were you drinking? Like, if you're like one beer
That's
a day,
an offensive
like,
question.
You're probably not going to gain that kind of weight. Like,
Did you look at Matt for any reason there?
Matt,
Right. Why is it
Matt would definitely lose 50 pounds if he stopped drinking.
I had a friend of mine who was only he was trying to quit
that's
smoking.
not going to happen.
He was going to quit smoking, so he was only going to smoke when he drank. And he drank Budweiser, drank the Diesel. So weirdly, he got real fat. So he just drank more so he could smoke more.
When I drink, I'm going to drink every day.
Why are you hammered again?
Also, about back to the Ozempic thing, I think it's easier for people just to be like, oh, I'm just taking this pill, because then they don't have anybody to argue with either. Because I don't know how many times somebody's asked me, like, oh, what should I do for this? And then you tell them what to do and what to try to do. And then they come back and they're like, well, okay,
That
you
sounds
must know
hard.
because you're fat. Right? I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, and that's that's the point that like Tanner and I've talked about too, like in the gym, like, dude, don't ask for someone's help when you know you're not going to fucking
Probably
listen.
one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about this? Well, I think you need to do this. And then they always have like a reason why.
Oh, well, that doesn't work for me because my hips don't move like that, or I don't have this, or I can't do that.
Okay.
Well, then you should just fucking die.
Well, on my
Maybe
training
not that
program,
far, but
like on my training program now, Brett's asked me like, "Oh, well, why does he have you doing that?" I'm like, I don't know, because I just shut up and listen.
But it's okay to ask why you're doing
Yeah, but
something.
I'm
You
just
don't have
saying-
to argue it. Just ask.
yeah, but sometimes just shut up and listen. Just try it.
right, like if you pay someone to do your program, like you obviously trust them. Like that was so funny. Like when Simple Strength first started rolling out and people started doing it, like we'd be in here because that was when Brett and I and Craig used to train in the afternoons, and so people would come in here and they would do the program like, hey, so I was doing this, but I changed, I took this out and I put this in and stuff, and I don't know, just something's not feeling right. And Brett's like, why'd you change the program? Well, I just like this one better. Well, I don't know what to tell you about
Yeah,
it.
now you're not doing my program.
Yeah, you're not doing the
when
program anymore.
Like I've done your program at least twice, and I just follow it every time.
Yeah.
Boom. Just follow
That's how
it. Like,
programs work.
yeah,
That's
and
the
then,
point.
And then at the end,
Which is like a diet.
Yeah.
If you give 12 weeks to anything, a diet, a training program, whatever you're doing,
Pottery.
Yeah.
basketball, if you literally put 12 weeks in anything, and I don't know where 12 weeks came from, so don't fucking ask. I don't know how 12-week training cycles came about. I don't know. But you're going to see something out of it. When I first wrote Simple Strength, I fucking sent it to Ed, and I said, what do you think? And I'm sure Ed didn't even read it because his answer was, try it. What are you out?
yeah.
It's 12 weeks. Anything you put 12 weeks into, you're going to see some kind of result if you fucking do exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
And then at the end of the 12 weeks, you can analyze whether it worked or not.
Yes.
Whether you got to where you're
Then
going.
you can say
With some
this
actual
part-
data
Yes.
instead of being like, oh, I tried this for 2 days and it's not working for
Yeah.
me.
Then you can say, oh, hey, this part didn't work for me. Like this exercise didn't work for me, or this food didn't work for me. Like you'll start to figure yourself out if you really pay attention.
Well, and then also understand like your 12-week program is designed to get you somewhere in 12 weeks.
Yes.
Which means week 10, you might feel like dog shit. It's probably the design of the program.
Yes.
Or your body's just beat up, and then you're going to come out, you're going to down train a little bit, and then you're going to peak at that 12th week, and you're going to hit your numbers like, oh, it worked. But people start feeling, oh, I've been on this diet for 6 weeks, and I just don't feel good. Well, you know what? Once you get to 12, because when your body figures it out, you're going to be fine.
Yes, and your down weeks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's no matter what you're doing. If you put 12 weeks, it's 3 months.
Yeah.
What else are you doing? If you put that into anything, you're going to get some kind of result out of it.
It's
Good
probably
or
just,
bad.
because it's like a quarter of a year. That's probably why they came up with 12 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, good or bad. If you're like, man, I want to be able to eat fucking 5 pizzas in one day. I really need to start training for this. In 12 weeks.
What
I'll
kind
be able to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be patient. The biggest thing with any of this stuff is patience.
Don't take Ozempic.
Don't take Ozempic because nobody knows like the real side effects of it.
Yeah.
Be proud to be an American and be fucking patient in life. Not everything has to be right now. We all like things, like Chris said with Amazon, we all like things yesterday. I wanted that yesterday. You know what I mean? Be patient. But on the other end of that,
Don't be lazy.
don't be lazy. And also, there's nothing worse than people who have the mentality of what have you done for me lately? Which is like a right now thing. You know what I mean? Like there's something to that too. Like in this whole fast paced world we have, don't forget about people who have helped you out. Just because they didn't help you yesterday didn't mean they didn't help you fucking 3 months ago.
Right.
And remember that. You know what I mean? Stop treating people like shit because they didn't do something for you yesterday. So that's what I got for today.
That was life lessons from Brett.
was-
You
yeah.
really
Yeah.
pulled it. Really
That
brought
was
it down there at the
real
end.
intense ending.
Yeah,
It was.
Just
We
sit there
appreciate everyone
stewing
for,
on that. Sitting there,
Right. No,
I can't wait till these guys get done fucking talking so I can put my monologue on here at the end.
Brett? Who hurt you?
Yeah.
What happened
Yeah,
this week?
so-
Do we need to have a
Yeah, who'd you see yesterday?
Yeah, what
someone pissed you off yesterday.
Who out there wronged Brett this week?
No, it's been a good week. Enjoy life. But no, as always, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, set us to auto download. We're just here to educate, entertain, while just keeping it real the whole time with you. And we'll see you guys next time.